Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Similarly Different. On today's episode, I have a friend of mine that I'm sure you recognize. She has been an actress, a singer. She has competed on some of your favorite shows. I know it was one of my favorite shows growing up. She is a mom. She's gone viral for her wedding dance video and so many other videos. The lovely Melissa Molinaro. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad we were able to get you into the studio.
Yes, finally the schedules allowed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was telling her that I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to her about, and there's so many things that you've done throughout your career, and you've evolved and you've taken on different titles and challenges. And first and foremost, I think that's amazing because you've been able to be a chameleon, which a lot of people can't do. From acting to singing to competing. I just want to know where that stemmed from, because I know that you grew up dancing and competing and all that stuff, but did it come from your mom? Did it come from your grandma, your dad? Where did that want to just not take no for an answer come from?
I feel like growing up, I always loved to perform. Like I can remember performing, literally standing on like tables at restaurants and just like singing, and just like literally 3-4 years old. And then I think when I would stay with my grandparents during the summers, they would put on these musicals. So I got to see like a lot of old school musicals, tap dancing and singing. And I would always be so like in awe of it. Like the classics, like Singing in the Rain, like watching Shirley Temple. And there was something about it that I just loved. And then even as watching Michael Jackson, like I feel like Michael Jackson was like my first, like when I watched him perform for the first time, I remember I was probably like, again, 3 or 4 years old, sitting on my dad's lap, watching the American Music Awards, and just so like, I want to do that. Like whatever that is, like I want to do that. And knowing that at that age just was the drive. Once you have that performing itch, it just never goes away. It's a type of high like I can't really even explain, but I know other performers know what I'm talking about because it's the best. It's the best drug, singing, dancing, acting, just, you know.
And did you ever want to be anything else growing up than an entertainer? Did you ever go through a phase?
No.
No.
I remember telling my high school counselor, Mr. Freund, I was like, yeah, I'm moving to LA. I'm going to pursue my dreams. He was like, really? I was like, yep, that's what I'm doing. There was no plan B. That was it.
And you've gone from performing as a dancer to performing as an artist. I remember that's actually how we met.
Yeah.
That was a whole other time, I think like over 12 years ago.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
It's so crazy.
Even like within our friend group, it's like I've known you like probably the longest.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like I remember going to a recording studio and you opening up the door, and then Shake the World, actually. That's the song that we recorded together. It's one of my kids' favorite songs.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
Oh my God.
They always ask, they're like, can we put on Shake the World? I'm like, you want to listen to Mommy's song?
I love that. And I think something that I saw as well from an outsider was the fact that every time and every season in your life, you went into it so gracefully. Like it never felt like you left anything behind in the sense of career or things like that. You just like molded as you continued into who you're now today. And I think it happened so effortlessly. And when you decided to, step into different entrepreneur endeavors, whether it was your clothing line, whether it was Moves by Melissa, when did you decide to take the step of, I'm just gonna not force it anymore?
As you get older too and time starts going on, you're like, I have to make some kind of like decision. I have bills to pay as well. It's like, it can't become just like a passion project at some point. And it's so sad to say that, but it's so much money to be an artist. It takes so much, especially if you're independent, that I was like, I can't keep funding my music videos. I can't keep paying this producer. I can't keep doing all this. And on top of that, it's so draining, you know, but like there is this love for music and, acting that like I will always have, and performing that like never leaves you, like we said. But I don't think I ever made that conscious like decision that I was like, oh, I'm ending this. Like I feel like the door's always kind of just been open, because who's to say like,
An opportunity
presents itself, and here I am, doing still what I love. And I've tried to keep those elements in my life because I feel like that's what makes you who you are is when you can continue to do the things you love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very important. I think what happens is we get older, we get married, we have kids, and then your dreams kind of fall to the wayside. And I never really wanted that to happen. So there was no closure for me. I just kind of kept the ball rolling and continued to do what makes me happy, which are those things, which is why you see like I perform for Brian at my wedding or like just little things like that that still gives you that same joy because you need to have that. It's fulfilling and everyone should continue to do those things that really like make them happy.
It's so important for women, I think, too, because I know that I did this mistake when I was married the first time around. I was so young, but I started forgetting to discover myself. And there's so many different elements of us that we're going to discover, I think, in every age group, at the 20s, at the 30s. Like being 32, when I turned 30, I was like, yes, I'm finally 30. Everybody says it's going to be great. And then now I'm 32 and now I'm starting to hit like not a wall, but a new little mountain of like, okay, so what is this really going into and helping me discover? And what do you think are one of the best lessons that you learned when you were in your 30s?
In my 30s, oh my gosh, I feel like you're still coming out of your 20s where you feel still, I don't want to say immature, but like you're mature, but you're also not ready for like, for me, I wasn't ready for marriage. I wasn't ready to have kids when I was in my 30s, And although I thought when I was younger, when I was like in my 20s, I was like, oh, by 25, I'm going to be married and have kids. And you have that like dream. But I think I was so driven in my 30s with career that was my priority. Being in my 30s, like I did a lot in my career in my 30s. And yeah, it was what was my driving force. And then I really wasn't putting so much pressure on me in terms of like, being with someone, getting married, the pressure of kids. This is why I always tell you, like, you have so much time, because I really feel like it has to happen, in God's timing. And when that time is here, you're going to know it and it's not going to be forced. I feel like a valuable lesson though, in my 30s, I feel like you're still really finding out like who you are and you're leaning into your strengths, you're figuring out your weaknesses. It's a time for growth, like major growth.
Yeah.
I feel like. And by the time you're 40, you're like, I don't give a F. This is who I am. There's no apologizing. You really know who you are. It's like you're not people pleasing. I feel like in your 30s, you're doing a lot of that too. You want to be at everything. You're in your 40s. Other things take other priorities, and unfortunately, you might not be able to show up in that type of way. And I don't know. There's a lot of lessons in your 30s, girl. That's a loaded question.
Also, our generation, I think our 30s are really our 20s.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, my mom and older generations like that, they had kids at 25, but they didn't have access or all the opportunities that we have now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just can't think, sometimes I'm like, I sound so selfish, but like I can't think having a child right now. And I love that my friends have kids because I can borrow them, I can have fun.
No, you're going to have kids in your 40s, girl.
I'm like, I just can't. There's so much to live. And then I see
even in your late 30s, like I was in my late 30s, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's like people put so much pressure on that. I'm like, girl, you have time. It's fine. Slow down.
So I have a question for you. What exactly made you want to start the Moves by Melissa program? Like, where did that stem from?
Fitness has always been my passion too. It kind of coincide with dance, right? But I had been working out in the gym since I was like 16 years old. And I wanted to develop a program for women to grow their booty, which I had my Power Booty class. I still have those. We do pop-ups. So Move by Melissa was just my fitness platform. And then this past year I created, which you have fitness programs on, but I wanted to create something that felt a little more intimate for women to really be seen, feel empowered, step into their greatness, like all of those things. And I felt like there was this gap where women felt lost. Maybe they had gone through something that they needed help to get out of. And, never putting themselves first. You can go through many years with just like family, and you're like, hold on, I kind of forgot who I am. So I wanted to bridge that gap. And for a long time, I was trying to figure out like, what is that going to look like for me? And I didn't really know in the beginning. And so, we have the Make Moves Challenge, which is a monthly challenge that women can be a part of to better themselves. And like like it's not just about giving them a fitness plan. It's not just about giving them a nutrition plan. It goes so much deeper than that. It's not just physically, but also mentally, and building that mindset and really having them step into habits that are sustainable, cultivating an amazing schedule for them where they feel they're not just busy being busy. I feel like everyone's busy. We're all busy, but most people are just busy being busy. Like, what are you busy doing? Do you even have like your schedule set out? Which brings me to like my Make Moves planner. So like it was the planner and the challenge that kind of cultivated this whole thing. I've been a very like organized, structured person my whole life. And I think that has to do with just my dance background and learning how to time manage, when you have, a whole week of dance classes and a very limited amount of time to get your homework done, very little time for socializing. I mean, like
You plan every minute.
yeah, like you're on a schedule. And I feel like when I moved out here and I didn't have that structure and that schedule, and it's like, oh, wow, like I'm accountable for myself and my time. So I started just like making sure I would, have the things I wanted to do daily. I would get up, have a routine, get to the gym, get my protein shake in, like all the things. That evolved into me just wanting to share my knowledge about being organized with everyone else. And that's why I created the planner. And it's like an hour by hour. You have your top 3 things that you're going to do that day. You can set an intention for your day. The planner is laid out literally so perfectly because it was a dream of mine to do it for such a long time. So I had had a lot of time to think about it. But this year in 2025, when we dropped the new planners, I've added something so incredible that I'm very excited for people to get. So it's like a new little thing that we're going to be adding to the planner that I feel like people are going to love.
Good. And then with the community one-on-one monthly Zoom classes and everything, where did the inspiration come from that?
I was feeling like I was in a rut, and I was telling my community, I'm like, I feel stuck right now. And I feel like also going through postpartum, I actually wrote down like how I was feeling going through my postpartum. And I did feel like after you have kids, it is like a whirlwind of emotions. Your hormones are all over the place. And like, I felt like after I had Kingston and with London being so young, I had them back to back. So it was a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I was really trying to find myself again and trying to figure out like, how do I balance all of this now, being a new mom with 2 very small babies? And so I wrote down how I was feeling in that exact moment. And it's funny, that message that I wrote down was the first message that I read to the girls. Our first meeting, we have group meetings every Sunday, and we were all like bawling on that call because it was just a place of like, yeah, I desperately just wanted to find myself and figure out like, how am I going to transition this? And like always, we always do. And I feel like we have to go through moments like that so that we can evolve and that we can dig deep and we can become the better version of ourselves. I feel like some people are like, oh, I don't want to get angry or mad about, I'm like, no, yes, get angry, get mad. Like you need to get to a place where you feel like you're ready to go. Like you're sick of this.
Yeah.
You want to shed this weight, or you want to gain muscle, or you want to take change or take action in your life. You want to do something different. You need to get to a place where you feel so frustrated that you are ready for this change.
Yeah.
If you're just like sitting here like, just nonchalant, like nothing is going to happen. Like you need to get to a place emotionally where you're ready to go. And I think it's weird how the girls who are attracted to this challenge, how everyone fits into this like amazing group of women so beautifully. It's like one person will leave, another person will come in, and we're like, oh my God, you were the piece that we've been needing, and how we all have something different to bring to the table and how we all keep everyone accountable. But yeah, it was definitely for me a place where I'm like, I need something for me. I needed the accountability for me. Let's create something. I know I'm not the only one, who's feeling like this. I know there's so many women who also may be feeling stuck, feel like they are a little bit lost right now, don't feel confident when they're walking into a gym setting. So all of those things.
I love that because a lot of the times that women are going through different phases in their lives, they think they're the only ones and they must be going crazy. And I think that a lot of the times, especially like new moms, I'm not a new mom, so a lot of my friends could come to me and tell me things, but then I haven't experienced it, so I can only say so much. I always say you have to get tired of your own shit for you to actually move forward and do something about your life, whether that's weight, whether that's job, whether that's moving, whether that's,
Yep.
like leaving a relationship. Like
Yeah.
until you're tired of it, you're going to hit that one point. And when you hit that one point is when you can actually evolve and make change.
Yeah.
But you have to want to do it because nobody else can
Yes.
do it for you.
Yeah.
So it's like the accountability of even showing up to a class on Sunday, a Zoom call on Sunday. It's a first step that a lot of people are not even wanting to take sometimes.
Totally. Like what you just said right there is so huge.
I think that goes into anything in your life. Like if you're trying to, like you said, go into a workout routine or be better for yourself, if you're trying, even for me, like I'm actually making some time to date.
Okay.
And I thought for me, I am so career focused and I still want to be, but I told myself, I want to just date. I'm not saying I'm going to get into a relationship with anyone,
Yeah,
but I want to see what I like and what I don't like. And the only way to actually see that is to put myself out there and to actually have these conversations, go to these settings, whether it's for a walk, for a coffee, or for a dinner, like however big or small it is, as long as I feel a connection to a certain extent with someone, I'm like, just go. You're going to get something out of it.
Yes.
Whether it's something, I didn't like how a guy did that. Okay, so now I know that, you know, or I really appreciated how he did that, or he was, he had a call to action for that. And now I may like that. That may be a new like. And also I'm venturing out personally to guys that I normally wouldn't date.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say we have this image of, who we think we want to be with, what that looks like. Literally, we have the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you said you're starting to date and get out there and just like see, because something may really surprise you and be like, wow, I actually never saw this for me, but this is feeling really good. And I like this. And I never would have known that had I not, stepped out of my comfort zone to go meet this guy.
I went on a date with a guy who is Scandinavian and Russian, and I've just never been into fully white.
Yeah.
And he's a painter. And he was like, oh, do you want to go for coffee? And then I can show you my studio after. He's like a legit painter, not like us up and coming. And I was like, yeah, sure. And he actually asked to draw a portrait of me.
Oh my God.
And I was like, wait. He was like, wait, can I draw a portrait of you? I was like, I can stay dressed, right?
Like,
he was like, no, just your face. And he was like, you just have to sit here and you can't move. You can blink, but you just have to keep staring at me. And I was like, okay. And the whole time in my head, I'm like, thinking so many things, and he's like, I can tell you're thinking, and I'm like, no, I'm just looking at your paintings.
Oh my God.
And I was like, this is like Sex in the City, but in my own rendition in 2024. I would have never experienced this, even if this doesn't work out, because it's so early on and it takes a long time for me to actually like somebody. Like, this is a fun experience that I could say I've had. And I think when you're closed off, whether it's closed off to start trying different types of workouts, closed off to try different types of people, closed off to try different types of career paths, you're so blocked of what blessings, one, God can send your way, but also the lessons you can learn throughout time about yourself.
Yeah. It's one big learning journey, honestly.
And I think it's so beautiful. And I think that a lot of the times women are so pigeonholed that we could only be one thing. And that's something that I really have admired of you, that you've done it so gracefully that you're like, I like this and I like this, but I'm still doing this and I'm still doing that.
Girl,
and this is all of me.
You ain't ready. You ain't ready yet. There's about to be a major plot twist.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, you ain't ready.
Are you about?
She just keeps evolving and evolving and evolving.
Oh, yeah. What's next?
You'll see.
Oh gosh.
You'll see.
She's like about to come out. I'm trying to think. Okay, so she's an actress, she's a singer, she's a dancer, she's a mom, a wife.
Literally.
She's a designer. I told her the other day, I was like, you're kind of like a life coach now. And she was like, I guess. I've never saw it that way, but yeah. Oh, you're a chef, because she does her recipes as well on Instagram and for her girls.
Girl, I hope we have a next season, because I cannot wait to sit on your chair next season.
I'm so excited now. Wait, when is this surprise gonna?
There's no time for it, but it's definitely something I've been thinking about for a long time.
Yeah.
And I feel like I should have did it a long time ago, because I feel like it would have been really cool to also have that. But yeah, it's like it scares me a little bit.
You know what's crazy though?
It's very not out of my comfort zone. The thing is about me, And I feel like, I don't know if it's a Gemini thing or why I'm able to wear so many hats. It's because I just feel like life is so short.
It's so short.
We have one moment in time to be everything we can be, do everything we can do. And I just want to capitalize on it all. And I remember when I first moved here, and the first manager I had said, you have to choose. You have to choose if you want to be a recording artist. Are you trying to be a pop star? Or are you trying to be an actress? Like, what do you want to do? You have to choose. And I said, I can't choose. You're telling me like, I want to be able to sing, dance, and act. Like I'm a triple threat. Like, why can I not be a triple threat? Why do I have to choose? He's like, you have to focus on the one thing. He's like, then you can pick up the other thing. And I was like, I just never liked that answer. If Kim K can be an attorney, have a skincare line, have her Skims line, be producing movies, TV shows, like literally, like there's so
Was
much.
a singer at one point.
Yeah. No, but like really though, like
Yeah.
there's so much opportunity. I feel like I don't ever want to dim anyone's light. I feel like everyone should, if you have a goal, you have a dream, you should go after it.
Yeah.
You should go after it.
I remember that when I moved to LA, I did a hosting boot camp and I was like wanting to be a host.
I
And
remember.
I went and I created a website called YaninaOyarzo.com. And then I was like, this is going to be a lifestyle blog and it's going to be called Let's Talk About It. And
cute.
everything like, the it was going to switch into a different word because I was like, I'm not perfect in anything I can say, but I'm good at a lot of things. So that I was like, I'm going to do lifestyle, whatever. And I remember the TV host teacher said, that's not going to work. And I said, why? She goes, no brand is going to want to work with you because they're not going to understand you. And I said, I am the brand. And I said, and as a woman, I am evolving and I like different things. And she goes, you're getting a divorce though, right? And she goes, yeah. She goes, that's what you should make the blog about. And I said, absolutely not. I said, my brand and identity is not about being a divorced girl in her 20s. And I said, while some people may do that and capitalize and like, move on to the next thing, I was like, I don't want that. And I also don't want my personal life to be in the forefront and be the branding of it, And
the divorcee.
Yeah. I was like, there's so much more to me. For that, it's like, I'm a girl that was born in Venezuela. I was a dancer and then stopped. And then like, there was so much to me that I was like, no. And she was like, okay.
Yeah. Sometimes that's another thing. That's such a great point. People don't always have to see your vision. People don't always have to believe in your vision, but you have to believe in your vision.
Yeah.
You have to know in your heart of hearts that like, I'm capable of doing this.
Yeah.
And I can do this.
But then you also look now at people that are creators or even creatives that they're like, oh my God, now everyone has to do some sort of influencer or creator, but they only were thought of being a chef, only were thinking about doing a certain type of makeup look or a certain type of style, a certain type of thing. They can't evolve and they can't grow their brand because now they've pigeonholed themselves and everybody wants to know now the human aside the thing that they do.
Yeah.
And there was a whole article on LTK actually about how it's so important for you to diversify yourself and expand and be able to show people that you're this and you're this and you're that. And I'm like,
multifaceted. There's
crazy.
So many different levels and things we can do. And I just love tapping into all the things. Yeah. All the things that make me happy. I feel like everyone should thrive like as much as they can in all the areas that they feel like they want to.
I think also as you get older, you just start fine tuning what really matters to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes the things that were fun and hee hee ha ha when you were 20, even in your early 30s, you just don't care for it anymore. I know that like recently I've been not changing, I would say, but I've just been noticing that if you're not wanting to grow, I can't carry you forever. And for me, I'm like, I want someone to push me. I want a friend to keep me accountable. Like I am that friend I will ask certain friends of mine every 6 months, 8 months and be like, is there something you think I need to work on? And they'll be like, wait, what? And I'm like, I don't know. I want to see it from somebody else's perspective. And I have friends that have complained or told me something consecutively, yearly, after year after year. And I think that if I've even placed opportunities for them for it to happen and it doesn't happen, our likes and our interests start kind of going a different route. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's so sad for me because
You've invested and put so much time, and
yeah.
then
Or people start hanging around with other people and I start seeing certain things that are of their interest. And I'm like, I don't care
yeah,
about that. Like recently somebody was like, well, let's go over here. And I'm like, why? We're going to run into the same people. I
yeah.
don't care. Like, I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to be in a space of peace. I don't care for the chaos. I don't care for the partying. We've done it for how many years already?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's so important,
You're
especially
just growing up.
yeah.
You're just evolving. That's all that's happening. You're
Yeah.
just evolving. You're just like stepping into things that make you feel good every single morning that you wake up. Like, I don't want to feel hungover. I want to wake up and be present and like,
Mm-hmm.
not that I was ever, I don't know, I never really got into drinking, but like, I'm just saying there's things,
Yeah,
even like,
not even alcohol. It's just like
it's
the
like,
environment. I just
yeah.
feel like the feeling, the
I
environment,
can
the
stay out
spirit.
too late right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I feel hungover from staying out too late. Like, I don't know. I just like, I need my sleep. I need, to make sure my meals are like all organic and cooked. And like, there's just you just have different priorities,
Mhm.
like I think your priorities just change
Shift.
and I think when you can grow with your friends and you're all on the same page and you're like here to like be the best you can possibly be and you guys are all pushing each other in that same direction, it's so dope.
Have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome or feeling fearful of stepping into a new space or a new era? I mean, we're not talking about whatever it is that you're stepping into
Yeah,
soon.
I will
And
probably have imposter syndrome when I do this. I don't know. I'm gonna try to like I have to mentally like prepare myself.
how do you mentally prepare yourself?
I mean, I'm gonna have to do a lot of studying for this thing, but
Okay.
I think you have to get to a place where your narration of your self-talk that you have in your mind is positive and is your own cheerleader for yourself. You have to take those limiting beliefs and that story that sometimes comes in our head that's filled with doubts, and you
Mhm.
have to push that aside because those are your own negative thoughts. No one's thinking that about you.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm sure like if I step into this, when I step into this
Yes.
new venture, yeah, I'll have a little bit feeling like I'm like, okay, imposter syndrome, but I'm fine with it because I feel like, you just let it roll off and
Yeah.
you just keep it moving.
I always say though, when you worry just a little bit, it's because you care. And I think
Yes.
there's a healthy amount of care that you should have in things, especially when you're
Totally.
starting off,
Yes.
because that gives you adrenaline, that gives you
Yes.
fuel, that gives you, and then every time when you hit a goal, it's like another stepping stone of, "Ah, I'm doing the right thing. I'm in the right moment." So I think there
Yes.
is a little bit of healthiness in that, not in the sense where it's going to limit, freeze, stop you from going and
Yeah.
doing it,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit of healthy, a little
Yeah.
kick in the butt.
No, definitely. Definitely.
Now, when it comes to London,
Yeah.
and she is a ballerina in the
Yeah.
making and
Yeah.
everything, how would you feel about them wanting to, and I say them as both of
Yeah.
the kids,
Kingston too.
how would you want them to go into social media with the way social media is?
Oh, it's so funny you asked that because all the girls at her dance studio she's starting competition. This is our first year. I'm officially going to be a dance mom. It's starting. And a lot of them have Instagram. And I started her Instagram when I got her handle when she was like born, both of them. I have no access to both of their handles. We can't figure out the password. We can't get in
I'm
touch with
dead.
anyone from Instagram. I can't get into both of their Instagrams. Like Brian has tried. It's this whole rabbit loop where it says it's not working. Even when we try to reset the password, it will not work. Instagram, Facebook, whoever, I'm gonna need you help. I'm gonna need you to fix this. So I have their handle. So I lost it. I don't know how many years ago, but it was one of those things where like I just got their name for like when they ever wanted to. I started posting in the very beginning, and then I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Like they can have it when they get older. So all these girls now have their own Instagram, and I'm like, I want that for her if she wants to showcase like her dance things, but I don't want them to have a phone. Like I don't want my kids to have a phone until they're like, I don't know,
15?
I was going to say like 17, 16, 17.
Yeah.
If I could even push it longer, I actually would. I feel like, the phone is just, it stops you from living. It stops them from living, experiencing, being in the moment. There's so much that they'll see on Instagram that I feel like they're going to be just like, comparing themselves to, trying to emulate. I mean, like, that's just not needed for at that age. You just need to keep doing you and being you so you can get a clear vision of like truly who you are and just like be proud of that person.
When it comes to kids too, the moment you give them the phone, it also cuts away, like you said, it starts adding into their comparison, their insecurities.
This dad was like, the minute he actually told me, he was at the dance studio, he was like, the minute I gave my son a phone, I cut off all communication with him. Like he felt like he lost his son.
That's what
like,
I was about to say. The one thing about the
no.
phone is that I feel like the biggest problem is that as family, you lose communication.
You lose communication. No.
And I think that like right now you guys have such a beautiful relationship. Obviously, they're still really young and there's going to go through phases and all this stuff. But I think that's my biggest thing. Obviously, I am not a mom, but I always think of the idea of that when I see my friends growing up and their kids. And I'm just like, I just don't know when I'm a mom, what is the healthy way to do it in? Because there's just no positive from it besides the fact that they have a phone if anything happens.
Yeah, so I was grabbing shoes out of London's dance bag. She was in between classes and a little girl went to grab her dance bag and she grabbed her phone. London's 5 and this little girl was probably like 7. And London looked at me and said, she has a phone. I was like, yep, she does, but you're not going to have a phone. Like that's another thing. It's like when other kids her age also have phones, I'm like, it makes it so much harder because then she's going to just like, I don't want her to hate me and be like, you know, I don't want that. You guys, it's going to be hard.
What if there was this phone when I was growing up that it literally had like 4 buttons and all you could do was call the preset numbers on it. So you couldn't play a game. You couldn't search the internet.
You need to give me the link, honey. I need that. I need that phone.
Let me find it on Amazon or something.
Like, yeah.
I think it's like it's
an
just
emergency phone.
Yeah, an emergency phone.
That's what she can have.
I remember my mom used to be like, that's what I'm going to get you. And I'll be like, no, I want Snake. I wanted to play Snake. And that was my first phone. It was a baby blue Nokia. Well, I cannot wait to see what you have coming up in 2025 or when you decide to launch it. Yeah, when the time is right.
When the time is
and
right.
the clouds move and the sun comes out and you just feel it that it's now. I know that it's going to be amazing. I know that it's going to be powerful. I know that it's going to have a lot of insight in how to just perfect whatever that sector of its life and category it's in, because if there's anything that we know about you is that you do everything with excellence. You do it at a high level.
Thank you.
So I am so excited. And I think that there's so many little gems that we have shared in this episode. It didn't really have one topic because I think as a person, you embody a lot. And that's more than anything what I wanted to show people, how I see you and how you just effortlessly just flow throughout the times that I've known you and when I see you in any setting. And you've always been so kind and so sweet. And there has been never a time where I'm like, this girl is a weird or rude. And you could have so much going on around you that I just wanted to be able to let people see a side of you and just the way you think, the way you process, and the way that we've had conversations. So thank you for blessing the podcast and being on it, because I know you have so many dance mom, life, entrepreneur things you could be doing right now. I love you. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you guys.
Yes.
Bye.
Until next time. Bye.